Hey, I'm Debbie Pask, and I wanted to talk to you about one of my favorite topics because so many people struggle with it, and that is how you can move past the damaging effects of a relationship that's gone wrong. So this does relate to intimate lovers, partners, people that you've had an intimate relationship with. It doesn't mean that is a really terrible ending. It could just be really sad and beautiful, but you still need to move on from it. Or it could be really destructive and you're really demented by this relationship and it's really got under your skin, and then that's really bugging you. Or it could just be something really short term and light, but it's kind of niggling at the edges. And in the Buddhist term, they call that shenpa. There's still a sizzle, or there's still something that's bugging you about it. And I think that when it comes to love, it seems to hit closer to the bone as far as, how you think and feel about life, because it's so personal and it's so powerful. So I wanted to give you the strategies that I've developed over years of working with clients. I didn't start out to do relationships sort of, moving on from, or coaching or counseling, but it comes up so often in sessions. And what I've realized is there's a formula that if you just kind of follow it, it makes so much sense. And it's based on lots of things that I've studied, pulled all together over 10,000 sessions. So I wanted to talk to you about how simple they are and the steps that I use or that I work with in this course that I've developed. And it's a short course just to help you to find some peace in the heart and in the head. So you'll see that I've written mind and heart, because there's two parts to moving on from someone when you've split up, or maybe you're in the process of splitting up and you need to kind of really get these final bits into place so that you can easily leave. Or you could have been split up for 3 years and it's just kind of never left your energy field, which happens a lot, and it's not necessarily because you can't move on. It's sometimes there's cords attached and you don't even know that they're there. So what are we talking about? The mind is important. We need to work out and do some work around the headspace, and that's all your thoughts, your over analyzing. People go over things again and again and again. It's the feeding. When you talk to friends, you talk about it, you grow it. It's your inner critic. It's maybe replaying old patterns. You've done this before in a relationship, and so it's all those like niggly headspace things. We have a process for addressing those, and it's powerful and effective, and it's based on one of the principles of logos therapy, which is making meaning out of difficulty. If you can't make the meaning, it's very hard to kind of let it go mentally. But there's some tools around that. Then there's the heart space, which is the energetic chords, or it could be like, a little bit like a karmic connection. There could be hooks. There could be old, it could be what we call soul fragmentation. It sounds worse than it probably is. Fragmentation. What that means is that part of your energy field has been left with that person, or part of you's kind of still stuck there, or maybe they've got a hook into you, or there's cords going both ways. And it's the heart space. You can't think or explain away heart space. It is what it is, but there's sometimes those heavy dragged feelings because there's an energetic block or still an attachment that we need to let go of. So in the course, in the short module that I do, we've got 7 major steps. I mean, they've all got little components to them. It's quite simple, but it's powerful, and it takes some reflecting and commitment on your behalf. So the hooks. First, we need to understand karma and connection and what we are and aren't responsible for. So there's a little bit of a talk about, you and them and how you've come into play together. So there's a definite headspace understanding of how you need to see the whole relationship model. Then we need to look at what we call lessons and gifts. Don't underestimate this part. That is probably the most powerful part of the whole course, is that you need to understand, what did you get out of it? What did you learn? What does it mean for you? And in the course, I share lots of different case studies of actually what people got out of why they went through this, and it makes so much sense when you go and reflect on it. If you don't get the lessons and gifts out of it, you'll just hold on to it because you'll just feel stuck. This is a hard one. I'm going to teach you to let him or her, depending on if you're in a relationship with a guy or a girl, let him or her off the hook. Meaning, I'm going to show you how to mentally separate your need to have something from them for you to feel okay. It's very simple but very powerful. So I'm going to teach you how to let them off the hook, meaning it's not about forgiveness. That's a completely different concept. It's how do I let them go so that they're not affecting my mind. Then you need to let yourself off the hook. If you can't let yourself go, you can't. You'll be able to do that when you get number 2 right. But if you can't let yourself off the hook, you know, your brain, your inner critic, your mind, it wants to stay hooked into this drama. So I'm going to teach you how to unhook from the drama and come back to a center place or a point zero space. Then I'm going to help you to come into peace, what we call peace and compassion. And that's definitely a heart. So these 4 things are much more about processing through the mind. These last 3 steps are very heart steps. So I'm going to really explore this concept and what it really means deeply and why you need to master it. Then we're going to unhook the cords. I know that if you're still affected, you've got cords, energy cords, hooks. We're going to take back parts of you and we're going to send back what's hooked into you. And we're going to sever those energy cords. They're real. I see them all the time. They stay stuck in you and they make you feel very lost and very sad and sometimes a bit crazy. So we're really going to work on those hooks. And then we're going to do a ceremony. Bit of our letting go process. That's the end kicker. And that's an Indigenous process. It's something that Indigenous people have been doing for thousands of years. It's got energy behind it. It's got active experience behind it. And we're going to get you to do something which we don't have in the Western world. The Western world doesn't give us these tools or ceremonies to let go or to finish or clean up our mess. So we're going to do that in the last part of this. And you can also repeat these steps as many times as you want. You can repeat them with other people in mind, or at least just repeat them for yourself. And promise you, after you go through those steps, you'll feel so different about your relationship. In fact, you'll be actually loving the other person for getting what you needed and being able to let them go. And you don't love them because they deserve to be loved. You love them because you deserve it. Very different. So that's what we're going to do in the course. So if you because you're watching this video, I've planned in the next couple of days to send you a simple audio to try and help you free up your energetic space and a couple of thoughts and tips to get you started. But highly recommend that you invest in yourself and just get this entanglement out of your energy, because it's distracting you from doing what you need to do in your life and world, and also maybe meeting new people if that's your goal. Thanks, and thanks for listening. Bye.